Aloha and good morning. Welcome to the House Committee on Tourism. It is Tuesday, January 30th, 2024, 10 a.m. in Conference Room 423. I will be your chair, Sean Quinlan. Next to me is my vice chair, Natalia Hussey-Burdick. Professional testifiers, please do try and stand on your testimony when possible. I can assure you that the very diligent members of this committee have read every word of your scintillating testimony. For all others, we do ask that you keep it somewhat brief, but I'll try not to do a timer this year. Okay, first up, we've got HB 1816 relating to tour guides. We have AG's office with comments.
Good morning, Chair Quinlan and members of the committee. My name is Ewan Rayner, testifying on behalf of the Department of Attorney General. We do believe that this bill, which would prohibit people from giving tour guides, guided tours without a license, would potentially be susceptible to challenge under the First Amendment in light of appellate court decisions in other jurisdictions which have invalidated similar laws on First Amendment grounds. So we do respectfully ask that the committee hold the bill in light of that concern. In the event the committee does pass the bill, we have suggested some amendments regarding the advisory committee that the bill would establish, primarily indicating the administrative agency placement of the advisory committee, and to make some clarifications regarding the members of the University of Hawaii that would serve on the committee. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but again, we respectfully ask that the committee hold the bill.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have HTA with comments.
Aloha, Chair and Vice Chair. Dan Naho OPE, Interim CEO and President of the Hawaii Tourism Authority. HTA stands on its written testimony to support, and it has additional comments included. We're here to answer any other questions. Mahalo.
Thank you very much. Next, we have DCCA in opposition.
Hi, good morning. Chair Quinlan, Vice Chair Hussey-Burdick, members of the committee. I'm Nadine Ando. I'm the Director of the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs, and we are standing on our written testimony in opposition to this measure.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions, I'm available.
Thank you. Next, we have Julia Estigoi Kaho'one in support. And last, we have Activities and Attractions Association of Hawaii in opposition. Perhaps on Zoom?
Yes. Aloha. Kakakiaka. Thank you very much for the opportunity to testify, chairs, committee members. Although we support the intent of this bill, I'm currently on an HTA committee to establish a certification for responsible tourism. There are obstacles, as I've pointed out in my testimony, which I know you've all read, which make it impossible for us to support. So I oppose the bill as written, and thank you very much for this opportunity. Aloha.
Mahalo. Members, questions? Seeing none, moving on to HB 1990, relating to travel insurance. First, we have DCCA with comments.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Gordon Ito testifying on behalf of DCCA. We offer comments. There's two provisions within the bill that it conflicts with our existing law and request amendments to those sections. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Next, we have AGA Service Company in support.
Good morning. Aloha. Duke DeHaas from AGA Service Company in Richmond, Virginia. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. I'm Deputy General Counsel for Allianz, one of the travel insurance writers in the United States. I'm also co-chair of the Law and Regulation Committee of the U.S. Travel Insurance Association. I won't belabor your time by repeating my comments, but we are supportive of this bill, which is part of model legislation enacted by the NAIC and in place in 35 states around the country. It's very important for tourism and for travel in general and for the protection of consumers and travelers. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thanks very much. Next, we have the U.S. Travel Insurance Association and American Property Casualty Insurance Association in support. All right. Hawaii Insurers Council with comments. And Crum and Forster in support. Members, questions? Seeing none. HB 1517, we have HTA with comments.
Aloha. The Hawaii Tourism Authority stands on its submitted testimony with comments regarding the bill. And we're here to answer questions.
Next up, and I hope he's there, Tom Yamachika. Are you with us?
Hi, good morning. This is Jade McMillan on behalf of Tom Yamachika and the Tax Foundation of Hawaii. Tom is in another hearing, but I'm here to present that we have submitted comments on the measure, and we'll stand on our written comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the Grassroots Institute of Hawaii with comments. We have the Kohala Coast Resort Association in support. BNF with comments. And HLTA in support. Members' questions? Please, go ahead.
This question is to perhaps anybody who can answer the question. Does anybody know where $90 million will be coming from for this bill? Is it from a special fund, combination taxes?
Comes from the TAT.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Members, any further questions? Seeing none, moving on to HB 1518, relating to the Hawaii Tourism Authority. We have HTA in support.
The Hawaii Tourism Authority stands on its submittal of testimony to support this measure.
Okay, I think that is it. Members? Questions? Moving on. Next up, we have HB 1519, relating to the Hawaii Tourism Authority. We have HTA in support.
The HTA stands on its written testimony. Mahalo.
And BNF in opposition.
Morning, Chair and members. Rod Becker, Finance Division Administrator with BNF. Department respectfully opposes the bill for the reasons outlined in our testimony. Thank you.
Thank you, Rod. Appreciate it. Members, questions?
I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. This is for BNF. Part of your testimony includes concern about putting general obligation bonds into this new fund. Was wondering, what are your specific concerns?
So the purposes of the fund would not be an appropriate use of GEO bond funds. So GEO bond funds, you want to use it for qualifying improvements, and the purpose of the fund goes beyond that. Additionally, once the GEO bond proceeds are deposited to the fund, it hampers our ability to track the expenditure of those proceeds. And also, when the money's in the fund, if it's not spent timely, we'll just be spending interest payments on that. Yeah, so if the money is spent directly out of GEO appropriations, BNF can manage the cash flow better and save the interest payments on that.
So you're saying it's, if they want to do improvements, capital improvements, it's best to go through the CIP budget process rather than put it into a special fund?
Yes.
That way,
So that way we can make sure that the expenditures are made for appropriate purposes, that they are made for improvements, construction of qualifying improvements. And when it's made direct, expenditures are made directly from the GEO appropriation, we are able to track those appropriation expenditures. Okay, so if it's deposited into the special fund, our systems don't handle that as well.
thank you.
Thank you.
Members, any further questions? Seeing none, moving on to HB 2563, relating to the Hawaii Tourism Authority. First up, we have HTA in support.
Yes, the Hawaii Tourism Authority stands on its written testimony to support this measure.
Thank you very much. Next, we have BNF with comments.
Chair, BNF will stand on its comments.
Next, we have City and County of Honolulu in opposition. My heart.
Good morning. This is Stephen Courtney, Deputy Director with the Department of Information Technology. I want to add on to the comments regards to opposition to the bill, but in essence, we do agree with making it easier for residents and visitors to locate appropriate state and county applications for recreational activities. It's just the implementation that we disagree with. And we do believe that there are other ways that this can be provided. There are alternatives in order to do the same thing. DIT has already invested quite a bit in our, what we call our PROS system. It's a Parks and Recreation online system in regards to providing access for residents and visitors to get to those activities as far as making reservations as well as payments. So again, we are in, the intent is good, but the implementation, we would say, needs to be adjusted.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Pono Res in opposition.
Aloha. I have my different hat on. I am the president and founder of Honores Antoinette Davis. And I was very confused by this bill, being a technology person. We want a real-time reservation system that Kulo Ranch uses fully, as several other operators throughout the state. And it seems a little bit of an overreach. And I did look on, it's a mix of service to commercial permittees and then the mix of the visitor front facing. And there's already an app for that HBCV did called Go Hawaii that is in languages. And I mean, anyway, I oppose it. I think I need more information to really make a good statement. And I did say I would follow up with you. Deal and I were supposed to put applications and permittee stuff online to make that a little bit more streamlined. And there are only application forms that you can download or pick up in Oahu available. That process is still not automated and streamlined and efficient. Available for questions. Thank you so much for the opportunity to testify.
Okay, next we have Kathleen Pahinui, my neighborhood board chair, in support. Thank you, Kathleen. And finally, we have HLTA in support. Members' questions. Vice Chair, please.
I do. DIT, Mr. Courtney, was it? Can you hear me? I'm just going to assume he can hear me. Okay.
Is this a question for Stephen Courtney?
Yes, question for you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for being here and for all of your work, all of the city and county's work to create these kind of existing reservation systems. I think it really speaks to the need for these kinds of things that you guys have taken the initiative to go ahead and do it for our county. I would hate to kind of fall victim to the sunk cost fallacy of, because you guys have already done all this great work, then we can't move forward with a more streamlined statewide thing, because a lot of our visitors do come and visit different islands, and it would kind of be a little inconvenient for them to download all the different apps for the different islands. Is there anything in this bill that would prevent the statewide app from simply linking to your existing system so you wouldn't have to reprogram anything?
Actually, that is the solution. All we have to do is provide a link to our system, and it wouldn't throw all the work we've done out the window. So that's what I'm saying, that's the other alternative. And I'm saying it's a whole lot easier rather than trying to push this separate mobile app. It could all be done, just have one page and just link to our system. And that would simplify the whole thing.
Yeah, but so the statewide mobile app could link to your system.
Yes, it could, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Would you folks be on board with that? Would you support that?
Oh yeah, I would talk to my technical person, but I believe for the most part, something like that, as long as the app has a link to our page, then I think it would work.
All right, I think we can work something out. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here and for all your work on that. Aloha.
Yeah, thank you.
Members, any further questions?
I have a question for HTA. Just a question about the creation of this new tourism enterprise fund. So I support the idea of a mobile app to make visitors who may not know or differentiate a state park from a county park. The need to create this special fund, can you explain why we need to go down this path, or is there an alternate way to do it without creating a special fund and accomplish the same thing?
So first off, the critical need for this app and coordinating a visitor-facing interface is very critical in our smart tourism initiatives, right? Of making sure that all the information, not only the reservation side, but the safety is available right in front of the visitor. So it's very critical. The portion about creating a fund, so part of it would be the sustainability of the product itself, and plus there needs to be an enticement for the visitors to continue to participate in utilizing the app. But we're open to if there are other means of creating a fund that would be able to have the flow of money going back and forth between the app and the state's funding system to maintain this product.
And if I might just briefly address that. So in the case of City and County of Honolulu, who already has their own app and their own payment processor, it's as simple as just linking the two. So their monies they could collect on their own. It would just be a pass-through. But for counties that don't have their own,
Right.
then we would hold the money and disperse it quarterly in accordance with what BNF normally would do.
Thank you.
Any further questions, members, on this measure? Moving on to HB 2606 relating to transient accommodations. First up, we have the AGs with comments.
Good morning. Deputy Attorney General Christopher Hahn with comments. Since the bill provides for civil remedies, we believe the Office of the Corporation Counsel or County Attorney would be the appropriate county agency for enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have HTA with comments.
The Hawaii Tourism Authority stands on its submitted testimony with comments clarifying some of the issues related to transient accommodations.
Thank you very much. And then lastly, we have, it literally says various hotel owners and operators in support twice. Oh, welcome.
Hello, Chair Quinlan, Vice Chair Hussey Burdick, members of the committee. My name is Ivan Louis Kwan. I would like to stand on my written testimony in support of 2606, but I would like to specifically ask the committee to take a look at this part of my written testimony where I suggest a clarification for defining the word person. And the definition is all already referenced in Chapter 481, 2021, Part 2. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, questions? Seeing none, we will recess for DM. Aloha and welcome back to decision making on our 10 a.m. agenda. First up, we have HB 1816. My intent is to defer this measure due to a lot of the concerns raised by the departments. Also the fact that under the CNHA's contract, Kilohana is starting a tour guide certification program. So let's see how those efforts proceed. Maybe we'll take another crack at this next year, something more formal. Next, we have HB 1990 relating to travel insurance. We'd like to pass this out with technical amendments and let CPC deal with the insurance portion of this measure. And we'll also be defecting the date. Members, questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
Thank you. Members, we're voting on HB 1990. Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair vote aye. Representative Holt.
Aye.
Representative Kong.
Aye.
Representative Luchika.
Aye.
Representative Lamasao.
Aye.
Representative Nakamura.
Aye.
Representative Perrick.
No.
Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you very much, members. Next up, we have HB 1517 relating to the Tourism Special Fund. After a number of very difficult conversations with Budget and Finance, we will be deferring this measure. Next, we have HB 1518, essentially housekeeping. Recommendation is to pass this out with a defective date. Members, questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
Chair's recommendation is to pass HB 1518 with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair vote aye, noting all members present. Are there any members voting no? Any members with reservations? Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you so much, members. Next up, we have HB 1519. You know, thanks to the late testimony by BNF, we'll be deferring this measure. Thank you. Moving on to HB 2563, relating to the Hawaii Tourism Authority. Had a lot of really good discussion about this. You know, I think you guys all saw my Vice Chair's line of questioning. There are definitely some issues that we still have to work out in terms of the cooperation between the county and the state. We have several months before conference in which to do so, and I give my commitment to doing so. We are going to take HTA's proposed amendment around disabilities and language accessibility. And I would like to point out that there may be some issues with Act 182 that we passed last year, and please put in the committee report that I'll be working with the Chair of Water and Land to address where the responsibilities should lie. And we'll also be making technical amendments and adding a brief statement in the preamble to clearly state that the intent is to integrate DLNR's app to some extent into this new app. And defecting the date. Members, questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on HB 2563, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair vote aye, noting all members present. Do any members vote no? Any members voting with reservations? Hearing none, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you very much, members. Lastly, our final measure, HB 2606. After some great discussion with my wonderful committee members, we will be taking the AG's amendments and defecting the date. And thank you, members. You guys are great. Members, questions, comments, concerns?
Just a short comment.
Please go ahead.
This is a great idea. I think consumers need to know what they're purchasing when they get a hotel, and so disclosing all of those hidden fees is a great idea.
Thank you, Member Pierrick. Members, any further questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
Voting on HB 2606, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair vote aye, noting all members present. Any members voting no? Any members with reservations? Thank you, Chair. Your measure is adopted.
Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.